Oh, there I am. Camera was on backwards. I'm reading this book. I'm in my car right now, just leaning back, just doing what I do. Reading Grain Brain, and this is good information. This I wanted to share. So here it is. It's in the chapter of, I think it's chapter 5. It's called Not a Fruitful Union, and this book is going over how gluten and sugar, mostly about gluten, but this chapter is also about sugar. And anyway, mainly how those two things correlate to the pandemic of obesity, chronic illnesses like Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's, all sorts of brain-related functions, hence why the book's called Grain Brain. A lot of things that go on with your brain. But anyway, it's talking about fruit and, sugar, so glucose and fructose, and how overall, if you're become less insulin sensitive, the more your pancreas has to work, the more carbs convert into fat, and it can even cause like visceral fat, the fat that's around your waist. And this is interesting because now it's talking about fitness programs and dieting. So, which leads me to want to share. Here you go. This is for you guys. You guys meaning whoever watches this. The sub chapter here is called "The Power of Weight Loss Besides What You Already Know." And it says, as study after study has proven, weight loss through dieting can have a dramatic effect on insulin signaling and insulin sensitivity. In one report, doctors evaluated 107 obese individuals at least 65 years of age over a 1-year period and studied how they responded in terms of insulin to an oral dose of glucose, sugar. The researchers wanted to measure the difference among 3 distinct groups: those who were put on a weight loss program, meaning a diet, those who were assigned an exercise program, and those who put on a diet and exercise program. And then a fourth group of people was designated as the control for purposes of further comparison. The results 6 months later, people in the weight loss group, the diet group, had a 40% increase in their insulin sensitivity. That's a good thing. That's what we're trying to reverse. And then this also happened in the group that went on a weight loss program and exercised. And the group that didn't embark on a weight loss program but did exercise, however, showed no change in insulin sensitivity. When the study was finally concluded 1 year later, insulin sensitivity had improved by a whopping 70% in those who lost weight. People who were exercising while on a diet and lost weight had an 86% improvement in their sensitivity to insulin. But the third group, the one that engaged in physical activity without dieting and losing weight, remained far behind. Even after 1 year, they had absolutely no change in their insulin sensitivity. This is why nutrition is at the base of the CrossFit pyramid. And this is why just getting on a fitness program doesn't work. You have to change your eating habits to complement. Notice that there is an additional 16% increase in those who did the diet and exercise. So it's the combination of the two to get the most dramatic results. But otherwise, it's in this book is really talking about how grains and gluten more specifically, but grains as a whole, and sugar, and those foods that convert to sugar, meaning like a high carb diet, is very much the reason why a lot of people have such a hard time gaining weight. And it talks a lot about not just your blood sugar levels, which as those begin to rise, that becomes more of a benchmark for pre-diabetic and diabetic hypersensitivity to that. But also testing your insulin sensitivity. So basically what happens is as your insulin sensitivity goes up, it doesn't mean that you're going to have higher blood sugar levels. So everything may seem to be going fine, but really your pancreas is working in overtime to keep your blood sugars lower. And that can go on for quite a long time. Your pancreas working overdrive slowly, more and more and more and more over the years, until all of a sudden it begins to fail. Your insulin sensitivity goes way high. And then at that point, you've already started accumulating visceral fat, which is the fat around the organs. So it's just pretty amazing stuff and extremely convicting for me. Just because even myself, I know I've leaned on fitness more than nutrition in order to keep myself relatively fit. But as the more books I read on nutrition, the more I get to learn. And it's just like, man, we have become victim to a nutritional system that has been just absolutely horrible for us. And this book goes all through the history. This is a very much statistics type of book, at least for the first half. And then the last half is much more about practical stuff. So if you want to learn about many of the things that have been going on with the U.S. diet and how it's built up over the last 50, 60 years, you should read this book. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to read that because it is such good information. And that is just a snippet of this book, and really just a snippet of the level of awareness that I pray and hope that we all have when it comes to nutrition and how we need to be extra sensitive to how our bodies respond to it. And not just be okay with being overweight or obese, or if your body's giving signals like brain fog or itchy skin or asthma or joint aches, and like all these things are our body trying to tell us that something we consumed or environmentally is our body not agreeing with us. So we need to make some changes. And the CrossFit diet is this: eat meat and vegetables, some fruit, little starch, eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, meaning some, not a lot. Doesn't mean you can just eat as much fruit as you want. Little starch. Okay, this is part of the diet. Some fruit, little starch, no sugar, meaning added sugar. And when it says little starch, it means less starchy stuff than what your fruit quantity is at. So if you're eating, let's say, 3 pieces of fruit a day, there are 3 to 5 servings of fruit a day, then your starch quantity needs to be even lower than that. Okay, and if you notice the meat and vegetables being at the top, vegetables need to be, as far as like calorie wise, volume wise, those need to be prioritized when you're making your plate. And those of you who don't eat vegetables, even somebody just yesterday was like, well, I take a reds and greens powder. Like, that is good for micronutrients. I'll give you that. And it will probably help your body absorb certain things. But that's not going to fill you up. So if you're looking to change your body composition, meaning lean out, increase your performance, increase your your muscle mass based on your performance in the gym. CrossFit diet, CrossFit strength and conditioning program. Okay, it's not just a strength and conditioning program. It's a lifestyle. You need to embody every part of CrossFit, and you can't just avoid the biggest thing that's going to make the biggest difference. All right, so off the carbs, off the couch, get your shit together, hire a coach to work on your nutrition personally, go clean out your cabinets, drink more water, stop going to the grocery stores and picking out all the comfort foods, stop justifying all of your behaviors and actions because it's so normalized in the world right now. Just stop, reset yourself, and ask yourself if you are on the path that you want to be on, because inevitably, if you continue some of those things, it leads to like real illnesses, and ones that you're not going to notice very quickly. And unfortunately, the one that comes to mind for me is my dad. Like I watched his decline from a very young age, when he was strong and muscular, to him being 55 years old, type 2 diabetic, and losing his life because he was really, really sick. And those things came on. Especially the last 8 years of his life, they came on little by little by little, and it was just normalized. Here, take this medicine. It'll make you feel better. Oh, you're diabetic. You're gonna have to take insulin. It'll make you feel better. And it's like, no, a diet will make you feel better. So it's like, out of love for the community, of my members, of people just I care about and I've gotten to know, like, this is what I want us to focus on as a CrossFit gym. It needs to be nutrition. It needs to be embodying what it means to live well and be well. So, after the Open this year, I mean, I have plans to make several changes in the gym. Some of them you guys are going to see, some of those you're not going to see necessarily. But it is to become less excusing of consistency in the gym, and it's going to be result oriented. It's all about results, and unless we get on a nutrition program that we can all adhere to, unless we get the accountability that we need, we're not going to get the results that we want. All right, in CrossFit, in life, just our habits in general, they blend over into each other in all areas of life. So let's go. I'm so fired up, and if this offends you, then maybe you need to check yourself, because it's probably because you need to do something about it. And I'm the same way. So I'm not saying no bread for the rest of your life, okay? I'm not saying no ice cream, no sweets, no get-togethers with friends where you snack on holiday food or whatever. It just means you need to be hyper aware, and your day-to-day, your routines, they need to be evaluated and analyzed, getting off of these highly inflammatory foods and stuff. Aria, no. Did you say hi? You can say hi. You don't need to bark for attention. All right. That's my excerpt on this book and what it means to me, as I have read 123 pages out of 280 some. So let's go. Let's get fired up. Let's get off of the bandwagon of US culture, diet, and let's go all in on ourselves. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's get some results. I'm fired up. You should be too.